Welcome to Say More in Raymore, the City of Raymore's official podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Harmer, Communications Director for the city. Each episode will bring you news, updates, and behind-the-scenes stories from your city government, covering projects, events, and the people who help make Raymore a great place to live, work, and visit. Today I have Public Works Director Trent Salsbury and Assistant Public Works Director Justin Paith with us. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
So first, let's introduce you to our residents and our listeners. So tell me a little bit about you, Trent, your background, and how you came to be in Raymore.
I went to the University of Kansas State. When I graduated there, I didn't want to move back to Kansas City, so I decided to take a job in Dodge City, Kansas. I was out there for about 3 years and decided that was entirely too far from home, so I looked for an opportunity back here, and about 4 years ago, I found a job with Raymore and been here ever since.
What about you, Justin?
Well, I started with Raymore when I was a seasonal at 16 when I was in high school, and it just led into a full-time position once I graduated high school and just worked my way to where my position is now. Been with the city 27 years.
Awesome. And both of you, within the last year or less, have been promoted. So, Trent, you went from
Assistant Director of Public Works to Director.
And then, Justin?
I actually went from crew leader to crew supervisor and then Assistant Public Works Director.
Great. Anything else you want to share about you?
No.
No. Well, you're going to have to because
Okay.
I have a couple quick rapid-fire questions. I'm going to ask you the same ones. So, Justin, let's go with you first so that Trent has a little time to think. Okay, what is your favorite thing to do in the summer? Favorite summer pastime when you're not here?
I like to hunt and fish. So anytime I have a free opportunity, I'm usually fishing, spending time with my wife. In the past, there's been with my son playing competitive baseball. So
Nice. Would your 12-year-old self think you're cool?
probably not.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
What do 12-year-olds
Yeah,
know?
right.
Would you rather be able to fly or have super strength if you had a super ability?
Probably super strength.
All right. If you're going swimming, are you doing the cannonball into the pool or are you dipping your toe in first?
Oh, cannonball.
Oh, nice. Do you learn by watching or by doing?
By doing, hands-on.
Got it. And what do you like better as far as work goes? Work in the summer or work in the winter?
I like both, actually. I see the benefits of both. Snow is probably the worst part of winter, but it's one of the biggest parts of our job. So snow is probably more satisfying, I guess, because you can see no vehicles on the roads, and then once you get the roads cleared, you start seeing residents again.
Nice. All right, Trent, same questions. What's your favorite thing to do in the summer?
My favorite thing to do in the summer is anything outside. I hate being inside. I can stand 100-degree heat outside, but if it's 75 inside, I'm miserable. So anything outside. We have a garden this year, do a lot of grilling, building, whatever it is.
Nice. Would your 12-year-old self think you are cool?
Absolutely not, but it would be what my 12-year-old self would expect.
Okay. Would you rather be able to fly or have super strength?
I think fly so I can get to work a lot faster or just get anywhere a lot faster.
Cannonball or dipping in your toe in the pool first?
I'm a pansy, dipping my toes first.
Learn by watching or learn by doing?
Probably learn by doing.
And summer or winter for your work here, what do you prefer?
I would probably say summer. We get to see the benefits of all of our winter work, building all of our projects, and then also build all of our projects for the next year and do all of the budget stuff. So probably summer.
And that leads us into just give us, either one of you, a general overview of the Public Works Department, or Trent, why don't you give us an overview of the engineering side, and then Justin can tell us about the operations side.
So our engineering side is made up of 5 people now. We have an administrative assistant. We have a senior engineering tech who started a couple days ago. And then we have 3 engineering techs who kind of oversee all of the field work.
And then what kind of stuff, like tell me about what do you do with like plans? What kind of things do you have to look for?
So the senior engineering tech and myself, we do a lot of the plan review. We're looking for basically to make sure everything that's in the plans matches our standards is something that we would want built in the city. And then our engineering techs are the ones in the field making sure that whatever's in the plans is built as it's planned.
And tell me about operations, Justin.
So the operations side, we have myself, administrative assistant. We have 3 crew leaders, utility crew leader, concrete crew leader, and a street crew leader. And then we have 13 maintenance workers that are umbrellaed under our crew leads. Our jobs are, when we get service requests called in for potholes, signs down, anything, we prioritize what we can and then go out and attack it. We're always trying to be proactive, but we got to put the fires out first before we can be proactive.
And without Public Works, we would not have clean water to drink. Our toilets wouldn't flush. We wouldn't have streets. We wouldn't have sidewalks that were safe. So a lot of unknown things go on all the time in both areas of Public Works. But it is essential to our quality of life here in Raymore. And I know we just a couple months ago had National Public Works Week where we kind of give you guys some extra shout outs for the stuff that you do. But if anyone doesn't know, they should really appreciate everything that you all do every day so that we have a normal functioning city.
So a lot of people don't understand what Public Works does.
Right.
And what's involved in Public Works.
What would you say, is there something that's the most surprising thing that people say, I didn't know you did that?
I wouldn't say there's really one glaring thing that's a surprise. I think a lot of people just, when they flush the toilet, it's just gone. They don't know.
There are these processes in place
with it.
Yeah, to get it out.
They don't have water when they wake up, and then all of a sudden, who do I call? Well, that's your Public Works department because they're out fixing a water main.
Right.
So I think that's just a side as, the engineering sides. Nobody understands what's involved in the entire Public Works department.
And hopefully we'll shed a little bit of light on that here today. And you're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Doesn't matter if it's the weekend or Christmas. Someone always has to be ready to go if there's water main break or any other kind of infrastructure emergency.
Correct.
And I was kind of going to say that to your point earlier, that when you go to sleep and wake up and your water's back on, well, there were people out there that work for the city all night making sure that happened. That is the one thing I don't think people quite fully wrap their head around.
I agree, and I know that there have been a few overnighters that I know you guys have done in the years that I've been here. Not very fun, but we're very thankful for it.
Well, thank you.
So, Trent, let's go over some of the major projects happening right now, like in street preservation and curb, and how do we determine what streets to mill and overlay, what curbs to replace?
Yeah, so the street preservation project's about half done right now. They've left town for their, I guess we call it phase 1, and they'll be back later this fall to finish up the rest of it. And the curb project is probably about half done as well. So they are over on Country Lane, I believe, right now. As far as how their roads are rated and selected each year, there's a rating system we use for curb and then one for asphalt. We drive all the roads in town every 2 to 3 years. We get these numbers, we put them into a database, and then we try and spread the money for the projects around town. So if there's 10 roads in each zone of town that are needing replaced, we'll do 3 from each of them or something like that. So we try and pick the worst roads, but also spread it around town so everybody gets a bit of the benefit.
And I think there were more than 24 streets on this year's plan, so it was a pretty big batch of streets.
Yes.
But of course the work is never ending.
That is correct. Unfortunately, it is never ending.
There are some other projects in the design phase right now. Kurzweil Road, tell me about that and where we are there.
Yeah, so Kurzweil Road, we awarded the contract about a month ago. That went to Wilson & Company. They have done their preliminary survey. They're doing traffic counts, and they have started in on the design work. That's kind of what they're working on. They're going to be looking at things like redoing the ditches, extending the box culverts, intersection improvements, trying to fix the intersection at 155th and Kurzweil where it's misaligned. There's kind of that weird jog in the road or whatever. So they're going to be looking at things like that to try and fix out there as well as replacing the road.
And then I think this fall we get that design.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have design October, November this year. We can go out to bid with it, and then the intention is to start that project early next spring.
Excellent. Any other upcoming projects?
We have a couple in the works, but nothing as notable as Kurzweil Road for sure.
And really, you've just been working a lot on getting your capital improvement projects ready for the budget for next year, and those are kind of planned 5 years out.
Yeah. Yep. So we have, I think I told Justin the other day, we have 15 projects planned for next year. I'm not entirely sure how many of those will go, but we have quite a bit of investment in the city planned for next year.
Awesome. And tell me about streets, Justin, and what our residents can do to help keep your crew safe when you're out working on the streets. We have striping coming up next month, and I've been out with the crew a few different times over the years. Every single time I'm out, I do witness a driver doing something horribly dangerous and on their phone or texting or whatever and just flying by very closely to our guys out there. So what can everyone do to help them stay safe when they're out working on the streets?
Well, our guys are always out pothole patching when they're out on 58 highway, which is a major concern of ours, as many potholes as we have. We've got an attenuator out. We've got blocking vehicles. So we've got 5-6 guys out there to fill a pothole, trying to take all safety precautions that we can. We would just ask that when you guys see us out there, if they could slow down, move over to another lane, let the other traffic get in front of you if that's what needs to happen. Just keep in mind that we're just like everybody else, and our goal is to get to work, do a job, and go home safe to our families just like everybody else. We've decided last year with paint striping, 58 highway again is the main priority, that we've decided we're going to paint stripe the arrows on 58, the crosswalks, stop bars at night. That would eliminate our guys from being standing out in the road with all the traffic. So we're going to do that again this year. Eliminated a lot of time that was spent on the highway, plus the safety side of it was a no-brainer for us to try to implement that.
Plus, they're not out in the beating down sun in the heat of the day in August, too.
Correct.
So that, I'm sure, was much welcome by them.
Yes. So our plan is our guys would do all the truck work within 3 to 4 weeks, and then they'll spend roughly 3 weeks doing night work around town, and then we'll be sure to have all the school crosswalks painted before school starts.
Nice. Tell me what you're planning for winter events.
We're not gonna have any this
year.
Oh,
no snow?
No
okay,
snow.
You heard it here first on the Same Warren Raymore podcast. Don't worry, guys. We'll be fine this winter.
We are always thinking about snow, unfortunately. So I think it was 2 weeks ago I actually met with the crew leaders and told them, you guys realize we're 3.5 months away from hooking our snow stuff up to see where we are.
Probably feels like you just unhooked them.
Yeah. We still feel like we're playing catch up from winter, and yet we got to start thinking about winter already. So it's really a never-ending thought in our minds and plan and preparation. So I know October we'll have our annual snow kickoff meeting, and we usually start having those conversations in August. So unfortunately, it's not too far away.
Always planning ahead, though. And I know that we have had overwhelming support for you when you guys have been out like day after day after day. We had kind of like a few snow events right in a row with no break in between. Our residents are awesome, and most of them were sharing messages of support and encouragement with you. Yeah. So I think that that's really great that we have people who support you, knowing that you're out there overnight, holidays, and all that stuff, just so that we can, so we can drive to the grocery store and get to work and do all of that stuff. And,
that's something that people probably don't realize, too, is those positive comments that our guys, people don't think that they see them. They do.
Oh, I made sure that you saw some of them, too. Yeah. Like I posted some of those up around your public works building just to make sure, because I know that it was just like an exhausting several days. So I know that, lots of your people do see them, and I mean, extra sure they would see them too.
They did. I can tell you
last
that.
year. Good.
And there's still some hanging around the building.
I know. That's nice. That's nice. Maybe we'll get some fresh new ones this winter if we get anything, but we won't.
Right.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Correct.
What else do you want to share about Public Works? Why do you do this? What do you get out of it? What makes you proud to be with Raymore Public Works?
I think that what I like about Public Works in general is just that every day, even if most people don't see what we're doing, I can see what we're doing. I get to build something, but I also get to work for a community and be involved with the residents and be hands-on and have an impact on somebody each day.
Yeah, I think the same thing, Trent. It's like you're giving back to your community. Every day you go out and you do something, there's a little bit of satisfaction at the end of the day, like you made a difference. I know when I started, when I was younger, our community was a lot smaller. Raymore was very small. But to me, Raymore still feels like a small town. I still
you know,
feel
a lot
that
of the
small
folks
town.
that you see around town, they know you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think that's really a good thing that we have here in Raymore.
Yeah, I agree. You know, our department is we're fully staffed. So in the past, we've had to just be reactionary to everything we did. We would go put fires out. Anything that came up, that's just what we did. And we're finally getting back into the routine of trying to be proactive. We've got routine sewer jetting that is going to be starting here hopefully in the next week or two. Again, our paint striping, mud jacking. We've got mud jacking back that we haven't been able to do in a couple years. Curb patching's going. Our street repairs, we're ramping up as much as we can do. We've got crack sealing on our hopeful plan that we can get there. It's trying to figure out what we're capable of with the guys that we have, and we've got a great crew, great group of guys that all really seem like they want to be here, so that helps us out.
That is good, and I can tell that, like, when I'm visiting with you all at your building. A lot of them have been here as long as you have too. We've got a couple that have been here about around the same time.
Yeah.
And quickly, let's talk about Andy.
Big A.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Andy's last day will be the 11th of July. He's put in 46 years. That's longer than I've been alive. Definitely longer than Trent's been alive.
True. Longer than I've been alive.
Right. So I've worked my whole career in Raymore with Andy.
With him. So what's it going to? I mean, I know he's quitting, but he's kind of probably going to come back on a seasonal basis. So we're not really saying goodbye. But what's it going to be like not having him with you every day?
It'll definitely be a change.
Yeah.
I like you said, though, I think sometimes when Andy will have a day off, he's going to be at our shop.
I feel like he won't be.
Yeah.
He won't be away too much.
So we told him that he will always have a seat at our lunch table. So he is welcome anytime.
That's great. And I know that he mentioned the other day that he's essentially been working for Raymore Public Works for nearly a third of the time that Raymore has been a city, since 1877.
Wow.
I've never heard that. That's
Crazy
amazing.
to think about it that way. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit about you and what you do and what Public Works means for the city.
And thank you for hosting this and being a good communications person for us.
Oh, that's nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, guys. Thanks.
Thanks.
And in this episode, we do have an additional guest, Raymore's longest-running employee, Andy Elliston, who works in Public Works, is sitting down with us for just a few minutes to share a little bit about his experiences here in Raymore over the years, from when he started, when Raymore's population was around 3,000 people, versus now as he's getting ready to retire and say goodbye, and our population is more than 25,000. Andy, how many years have you been with the city?
46.
So you started in April of 1979.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about when you first came to the city of Raymore, what it was like and what kind of work you were doing in Public Works.
It was, street maintenance, kind of what I do today. It's mostly, we were maintaining roads and ditches and dealing with brush or whatever comes up, We were helping out with the parks, mowing their memorial park, mowing our properties, helping out the water department if they have an issue with the water system or whatever. And another challenge was, when I started here, everything we owned was used. Maintaining the equipment, keeping it running was huge. If we plowed snow at night, we didn't have no place to fuel up. So the truck was always full when we started, but we had like 2 5-gallon cans. About 1 o'clock in the morning, you dumped them in the truck and keep it going until the gas station opened up in the morning. So
Stuff that's a lot different now.
Oh, yeah.
What is your favorite piece of work equipment?
Probably be the backhoe that gets used the most.
At a very young age, you had an interest in large equipment.
Oh, yeah.
And you told me before about when you were young, you were riding on the loader with your grandpa. What was he doing here in Raymore?
He was in Silver Lake digging basements.
Yeah, right when Silver Lake was being developed for the first time.
Probably back in the mid-'60s, I would say.
Mid-'60s? Great.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I used to kind of tell everybody I'm an employee/historian because I've seen so much infrastructure go in.
So you're getting ready to retire here next week. Big change. So what are you going to do with your time?
Be a few things. I'll probably get some work done to the house. I need a new garage door. Probably some maintenance done on my roof. Might take a few day trips here within the state. Try to find other things to do.
And then come back and see us?
Yeah, probably.
Is there anything else that you would like to share?
Well, it's been quite the adventure. To think back when I started here, what it was like, to see it today, it's been a big change.
And you've been a big part of that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of things, everything, the highway, streetlights. None of that stuff here existed here. Totally different than the little, town that I started in back in '79.
And I mean, just how cool that you have shaped how Raymore looks, that you've helped make it a cool place for people to move to and raise their families. I'm really glad that I got to work with you for 8 years, and I know that it's going to be different, but you'll be around. You're not going to go too far, so we'll continue to see you. I just would like to say thanks for chatting, and thanks for all of your years of service, 46, to the people of Raymore.
Well, it's very flattering that, for all the things that people have said to me, and stuff. And I don't know. I just, regardless of where I would have been, it's still been 46 years. It's just, I did them all in one spot, one town, and, I would have been working somewhere regardless. But, stayed within one spot. It's pretty rare for anybody, I guess. And
I think that is rare. And listen to you. You're a humble guy. I think that's why we love you, Andy. Do you have anything to leave us with before we say goodbye?
Well, I'd have to say, I guess when I do leave this place, we'll take with me the memories of, 46 years of everything that happened. And, you kind of call back on them for the rest of your life and remember the good times and the good fortune I've had for being able to, to make it through that time, health and everything else. So not everybody made it. And we lost a few. So I guess more than anything, it's the people you meet. Probably spend more time working with them in the daytime than you do with your own family when you go home in the evening sometimes, and all experiences. And
thank you so much, Andy.
Okay.